TV, your cutting-edge television station, interfacing Africa and the rest of the world with excellent documentaries, business news, investment opportunities, lifestyle, and much more. We're currently on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also view while on the move at www.firstviewtv.tv. First View TV, changing the narrative.
Thank you once again for hosting us here this afternoon. I did say to Ambassador Ting earlier on that it is a most refreshing outcome. You know, I said earlier on that my relationship with the High Commission dates back about 36 years, and I've worked closely with a good number of administrations here. But the focus that I find with your administration, which has been shared earlier on with me, is economic diplomacy. And that is so fundamental and absolutely important, particularly in the lifetime of Nigeria as of today. With the challenges that we've been experiencing, particularly in the oil sector, that we know started its roots when the United States President Obama came into office, and the focus of America then was on fracking and shale technology. That impacted very seriously on oil revenue. And evidently, a country that depends on imports can never really grow. And most interestingly, in Nigeria, we are currently sitting on such raw potential that can be translated into export potential. Your Excellency, a few years ago, we carried out a study here in the UK. And our findings was quite staggering, and itself an eye-opener. So we came to appreciate that household numbers in the UK trends at about 300,000. So I want you to please just do a bit of calculation here. With an average income of about £100,000 per annum, that translates to 30 billion pounds. What we were able to establish, on income, fiscal assets in terms of collateral, and other forms of assets and investments, tuned the Nigerian sub-economy in the UK to about 70 billion pounds. So in this room today, if we're going to do a guesstimation, you effectively are looking at a significant asset base sitting in this room today. So let's look at the missing opportunities. Export is one, and quite a major one too. Against the background statistics of the household and also the income, I want to take us on some more numerical thinking. And I'm delighted that two of our members, Mr. Oyewole, who heads the export, and also Ms. Mustafa, who is actually actively involved in the export business, they will, without a doubt, appreciate and agree with me on what I'm about to share with us. So what we want to do is just to do some further averaging. So you take the household main figure, that's 300,000, in terms of our grocery on a monthly basis, focusing on African foodstuff. Let's just focus on African foodstuff. So we're talking about our gari, our elubo, and various things that we consume as people. Bearing in mind that, interestingly, our children were born into this staple food diet. So whether they have lived in Nigeria or not, it doesn't really matter. That is what they used to, just like the Asian community. So it's a part of them. Please take note. And we've not factored them into this statistical study because they are effectively British Nigerian. We are Nigerian British, they are British Nigerian. So the calculation goes in this way. Let's even assume that on our exports, and the women will probably know better in terms of this calculation. I know because from time to time I will take my wife to do some shopping and I know how much would normally be spent on African foodstuff. So let's average 50 pounds per week. Let's say 50 pounds per week. That gives us 200 pounds per month. Then let's do a multiplier. Let's even work on 100,000 homes in terms of the ability of consumption, and also look at the financial commitment. So if we now shift it on the front of export, and I've always said this, that not a single state in Nigeria, particularly within the agro-based economy states, don't need any uptake from the federal government. They can be self-sufficient. There's nothing that says that an average state, let's even say Imo State, cannot establish a functional agro-based framework that is designed purposely for export purposes as a form of income drive. Now, from a GDP point of view, even going on to our fiscal policies right now, you will be stunned at what will happen overnight in the scale-up of our economy. I started off by addressing the issue of the dwindling revenue on the oil and gas. And that's going to continue because with the way things are moving, even here in the United Kingdom, everything is going on the eco. The vehicles are becoming, so we can see what's going to happen in terms of medium to long term. And the consciousness has got to be very clear in terms of direction for Nigeria in that respect. So, on Nigerian British Business Forum, Your Excellency, our focus is placed on a three-way base. So we have the bilateral side, we have the business links, and also what we call the nation builders. The bilateral, very simply, is to promote trade links between the United Kingdom and Nigeria. And I'll give us another example on the bilateral front. Again, I've always been an advocate for particularly those who are gainfully employed in various professional sectors to ensure that their term there should be seen as one that will add value. So Engineer Dakosulu, who heads our infrastructure, he's built phenomenal relationship with the mainstream over the years. So, Your Excellency, it would not be a challenge in terms of us partnering with smaller or medium-sized British companies who we want to bring into Nigeria to work with us on infrastructural development. So that's on the bilateral side. This is not just restricted to the Nigerian focus of Nigerian with the British companies. And the same thing is applicable on the front of education, health. Professor Oluwabaro, when he introduced himself, he was very, very modest, extremely modest. The gentleman sitting down there, he's the first black intravenous, I can get it right, radiologist. And they're a good number like that. I'm saying this, Your Excellency, so because this is just the beginning of a relationship. So in conclusion, once again, because there's going to be more time for us to discuss, we're here for this purpose, and the purpose is to engage and to build relationship with the main focus of building a viable Nigeria. Your Excellency, thank you very much.
Well, the interaction has started, and I think we don't want it to be monologue. It has to be exchange of ideas. I must say that on assumption of office, I was very clear in my mind that I have two missions here. The first one is for Nigeria, the second one is for Nigerians. And I discovered that the one for Nigerians had really taken off. The first week here, I usually get calls on when is my passport going to be ready. Out of every 10 calls that I received as High Commissioner, 6 to 7 will be about passport. So I said to myself, is that what is going to define my tenure? Ability to make sure that people obtain their passports on time. And that's one of the things that has delayed this forum, because I like to put things in the right perspective. And I know that if this passport issue is not put on auto drive, definitely I cannot go into other areas. The passport issue really arose out of two issues. One is the fact that we have a lot of our people, we call them illegal immigrants. I don't call them, I said, undocumented Nigerians, whose only form of identity is the Nigerian passport. So that invariably puts pressure on passport issuance and renewal. That's number one. Number two is the fact that, Britain now, for many dual citizens, you need to have a valid Nigerian passport before your British passport is renewed. Then thirdly, which is something that's temporary to happen to be with the restrictions, for almost 16 months here, passports were not issued. In fact, as at last April, middle of April, we had 18,000 backlog to clear. But I'm happy to inform that as of today, we have cleared 19,000 passports. I still take this time to express my appreciation to the Nigerian Immigration Service back home, who has, the DG has ensured that the booklets that we have is sufficient enough. We're never short of that. And, so the issue now is, if you require a passport, given the fact that we are clearing this backlog, by the time we are done with clearing the backlog, hopefully by August, the issue of passports to me will be on auto drive, and anybody that gives me a call, I'll say, please go and try. If you have any issue within the system, come back to me. So that is the way it should be. And in addition to that, I'm also happy to inform that the Nigerian government, being aware of the challenges of issuance of passport all across our missions, because they have 52 centers across the world, including Nigeria, where passports are being processed. And in its wisdom, the federal government under President Muhammadu tried to find out where the bottlenecks are. And we discovered that the bottlenecks usually exist in the data capturing and processing. So that is being farmed out to the private sectors all over the world, including Nigeria. So while production remains with us in the mission, the private sector will be handling such. And you know, you're all businessmen. With private sector, you have effectiveness, you have efficiency.
That's right.
And some of those things that people take as a privilege here, some of those things, some of the applicants abuse here. You don't try that in the private sector. Some people will be given time to come at 9 o'clock. You know, you come between 9 and 11. They won't come until around 12. You know, and they will still insist on being attended to. But with the private sector, it's going to be 30 minutes call-up system. So if you are not there, within sorry, country, you can start from here. Because every country of the world needs the people and people with this to develop. This is what matters in any developmental setting. Once it's anchored on 3 legs, which I always call wisdom, workforce, and wealth. You know, if the wisdom is not right, that means if you cannot use your brain to bring out things that are desirable, that are feasible, that can add to national development, you know, given the workforce that you have, who is going to give direction? So it's a process. And these things that we are looking for resides more in the diaspora. For so many reasons. One, because of your exposure to the world. You can't deny that. The kind of knowledge that exists with our diaspora, it's amazing. To the extent that a lot of you that has taken through some courses here, you know what happened in your classes. You come at tops. You know, with some other nationals, even British citizens. So how do we now make sure that we make use of those expertise, either gather them on the job or that you have one or the other, take it back to our country? Because no matter what we say, no matter what we do, home is home.
Yes, sir.
No matter your accomplishments, you will get to a level in life that you will definitely be homesick. Because no matter how any society accepts you, when it gets to a level, it will occur to you that you don't even belong. You don't need to be told. Some of these things are there. You can see them. People act even if they don't say. So, and the potential in Nigeria is such that it's so enormous. Our situation within the context of ECOWAS. And lo and behold, Nigeria today is 65% GDP of the Economic Community of West African States, which consists of about 16 countries. But all of this, instead of appreciating it, harnessing it, we demarket our country. We thrive on the negatives. Just tell me, which country does not have their negatives? The way knife attacks are being reported in this country, is it over-reported or accurately reported or under-reported? Ask ourselves. It's almost a daily thing. But the ambience of national security and sense of patriotism make their media be responsible to the fact that if you demarcate, if you talk of knife attack in UK and London thriving a lot on tourism, has implications. So we all have a duty to make sure that as people continue to promote the negative, we also have a way of pushing our positive. Because the positive narratives that can develop our country. Many times we tend to blame our leaders. That also is another issue. We are having the problem with us as people has to do with the led and the leaders. In the sense that all leaders that we have since independence to date, if I chronicle what has happened to them, that's something that should put us in a place that we lock ourselves up and ask ourselves, where is the problem in our country? The first leader that we have in Nigeria happened to be Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. We killed him. Thereafter came Aguiyi. We killed him. After Aguiyi came Gowon. He was humiliated out of office. After Gowon came Mr. Thomas. He was assassinated. Then came Obasanjo, 3 years, gave everything to Shagari. And Shagari, humiliated, detained, almost lost an eye under detention, the leader of a country. After him came President Muhammadu Buhari. He was also humiliated out of office, detained for almost 2 years, lost his mother in the process, and so on and so forth. Then came Babangida. What happened? Whatever he must have done, annulment, he was also hounded and disgraced out of office. Irrespective of what Obasanjo achieved, debt forgiveness, having viable national plan, and on account of third term, he was humiliated out of office. From there, we ended up with a sick president, President Yar'Adua. After him came Jonathan. What happened? Also humiliated out of office. Now we have President Muhammadu Buhari. And this issue of insecurity and we have started on that trajectory again. Tell me which country developed under that condition. We must really, really, really appreciate the fact that there are certain things that are not right. Either that we are doing as a person, because most leaders emerge within the context of the nationals of that country. So, and what is creating the problem largely to me is the fact that our economic development is anchored on what I call feeding bottle economics.
Feeding bottle.
Feeding bottle economics. Yes. Everybody goes to Abuja
To be spoon-fed.
take the allocation, likely from wealth, go back to your home, either the state or local government. To a group of people in Ogun State, I said almost everything we consume in the state, 80% is brought from outside the state. The meat you consume, the pepper you consume, the sardine or the egg, So how are we going to develop? So the reason why I'm saying this is that I want us to start considering issues of agricultural production and agro-processing, which will form the bedrock of our economic development. Yes, we'll do IT, we'll do all those ones are service, backing up production and agri-production. And I used to also challenge some of the younger ones. When we were in school, the factors inhibiting agricultural production are still the same as we are now. Those things that were taught 40 years, 45 years ago is still the same. Crude implements, land tenure system, lack of storage facilities, lack of access to market, and so on and so forth. So that means in the last 45 years, this issue is still there. And if we expect government to do anything for us, it's a joke in the private sector. Government is to provide environment. And like he said, even where the environment is not provided, but can't we find ways of coming and going around it to develop our country? Because to me, the focus of our interaction today is based practically on two things. How do we support you whichever way we can support you, either here or in Nigeria. Then secondly is how do we facilitate, whatever program you have to provide a linkage back home so that positive things can also happen. The Chinese, British do the same. Indian, British do the same. Why not us? Another time I challenged my sister that with the population of Nigerians we have here, I'm shocked that we don't have a Nigerian school. And how does it take to set up a school? It doesn't take much. There are a lot of you here, half of your wealth will put up a school. But because probably maybe we have not focused on that, and it will be a lucrative business. You can imagine how many Nigerians will bring to Nigerian schools in Britain. So, and these are things that help national cohesion. So that we stop talking about I'm Hausa, I'm Yoruba, I'm Igbo, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian. If all those primordial things don't enhance development in any nation. And let me also talk about the situation of security. During my course of interaction in Nigeria, I went to see the British High Commissioner in Lagos. And there were three factors that he really talked about as factors that the British businessmen are having in Nigeria. And the first one is exchange control. That when people bring money, to take their money back can be an issue. And I said, well, to me, what is needed is for the CBN governor to look for a convergence between the black market, foreign exchange, and the official market. And if we are watching gradually, it may not have closed, but the gap is narrowing down. Because with that gap narrowing down, is really important for investors. And I'm also proposing I've proposed to some people in government that we can also add what I propose as capital importation license. If you bring funds into the country under the official window rate, you must be able to repatriate your profits along that line. The insecurity that we have, they vary from one zone to the other. In the northeast zone, it's about ISWAP and the Boko Haram. And I want to tell you that all these are being sponsored by foreign elements. And that's why the British government is very sympathetic, because they have credible intelligence that these things are not really coming much from Nigerians. What has helped this situation in the northeast is the fact that the Lake Chad Basin is drying up. So the pastoralists that rear cattle whose agri was their mainstay of livelihood had to leave further south, and that has created some challenges. In the northwest, it's about banditry. We know some guys who believe that government is not doing enough, and it's a class war. Government is not doing enough, and any way we can do to get from the we have not can get from the haves, we have to go that way. I'm not justifying it, but I'm just taking time to explain the dimensions, so that it's not a question of one issue fits all. In the north central, it's farmers-herders clash. You and I know that farmers and herders have been existing hundreds of years without any issue. But because of the various developments that is taking place along cattle routes and various developments in various farms, this has ended up bringing conflicts. But instead of people being brought together, that's why the president will always tell the governors, please go and secure your state. Because a lot of these issues are local issues. Security is a local issue. Bring both together, find a way, move on. So you now go to the southeast. In the southeast, the challenge is about IPOB and MASOB, the challenge of secession. And we all know what is happening as of today. Both sides have casualties, but I want to say the casualties on the pro-government side is more. But you know, government by nature will not want to escalate issues by saying this is what has been done. And I always feel for our people in the southeast as of today, because if war is declared in any zone, it's the innocent that will suffer. That's why it's always good, no matter what happens, because at the end of the day, you still go on the table. For me, I don't believe the best thing is for any set of human beings to take arms against the state. It's usually unpalatable. Our brothers in the Northeast can share their experience. Some of them cannot even go home for 3, 5, 6 years. Some of them see their brothers because they are caught in between two crossfires. It's either the Boko Haram assaulting them, or the soldiers taking them for Boko Haram spies, and also assaulting them. Then you move to the south-south. Of course, we know that right now the issue in this, the insecurity in the south-south is not much as before. Then to the southwest. The southwest issue is about kidnapping. And kidnapping has become so lucrative now to the extent that people don't want to work. And I tell you, kidnapping, just like any crime, the senior advocate here will bear me out. Crime is usually a ring. It will start from the informant, who will have to determine who is a prized target. But they don't go for people who will not bring value. The informants definitely are not going to be Hausa Fulani. Then from the informant comes the operators, who are the herders, and understandably so, because they are not known in that community. Other people that are known cannot be. So that is the people, those are the ones that a lot of people see. But from that ring, you now go to the farm where victims are kept. All those farms that victims are kept, who owns them? Is it also Hausa Fulani? Then you go from there to the police station that you report the matter. Most of our police stations all over the country have more indigents than non-indigents. Then you now go to the big man who takes the ransom to now settle. So it's a chain. I'm not justifying it, I'm just trying to explain what is happening. But you see, when you profile a crime, you'll not be able to get to the root of the problem. And that's why I'm aware that the traditional ruler of my own town, Abeokuta, Alake, has summoned up the Bales that if there's any victim of kidnap that is kept in your domain, you will lose your title as a village head. And to me, that has really helped. Because in the whole of Abeokuta, where we have about 74 councillorship districts, the thing was operating about 3 out of 74. And with all this proactive action, and he set up a traditional council for monitoring purposes. That's not there. So I'm saying security is a local issue. But the way the thing is magnified, you won't think to go to Nigeria. It's I have a lot of people here, they say they want their passport, they want to go, but they are not sure. And I said, well, at least if you have Nigerian British, there will be travel advisory. Have you gotten an advisory from British High Commission that you shouldn't travel to Nigeria? The answer is no.
Once again, thank you so much for your considerable advances in such a short space of time. I have to attest, I'm taking my son to Nigeria. He just finished, so he's doing internship with KPMG, and he got his passport in 2 weeks. So it's really true. I'd like to ask you 2 questions, please. The first one in regards to trade and investments. I'm looking to take a delegation to Nigeria, and we have the issue of visas. Now, in most other countries, you can do visa on arrival, and the process is very easy. In the same way you've cleared up a lot of the bureaucracy with the passports, can we look at a situation where we can work with the ministry or with the department, where we can refer our potential visitors, potential investors to the department and have some sort of fast track or special service?
That one is done. The issue of visa is not even about fast track. The policy of government of Nigeria is visa must be issued within 48 hours, except if there are issues. So anytime you require this visa, you can always link up with him, who will link up with our immigration department, which is what about the networking that we are talking about. So that one is even settled. You don't need to ask whether that is possible. It is possible and to be done. And if you have any issue, even at this level, which I doubt you have, I am here as your chief servant to
You can see as we're clapping that it's been an issue. I'm very grateful at your dynamism that you can clear that up so quickly, and I'll be stepping forward. Second question I wanted to ask.
I'm sorry, before you even go further, that's what I've been doing here. When people have visa issues, they give me a call as someone, the immigration head of immigration, and the matter is resolved. Because to me, I mean, for anybody finding Nigeria as an investment destination should be given the necessary encouragement. I'm in the private sector in Nigeria. I know how it is difficult to make money, and I also believe that investors must be encouraged, because these funds that we're talking about all over the world doesn't have one destination. I mean, the fund not having one destination, if the environment is not good here, someone is going somewhere else. You know, so I appreciate that, and I've been doing that to a lot of people since I assumed office. I can't imagine countless number of people. So now that he has come now, I have no doubt in my mind that he's capable of handling it. Or should any issue arise, just get me, sent to me directly.
We're very grateful.
And I'm going to leave my email address here before we leave here today.
We're very grateful.
Thank you.
We're very grateful. Finally, so in link to that question, and I'll somehow go, is on the other side. Now, on the other side, I have to get protocol officers, etc., to ensure coming through is not a harassment and is a smooth process for people who you want to show the best side of Nigeria. The first step through that. Do you have any links between, so you're smiling, between from here to Lagos?
Because I'm smiling because this question was asked about 2 weeks ago in the forum, the power list that I hosted, the power listers in UK here. And the question was asked by somebody, and another power lister helped in answering the same question. But I don't know whether somebody is going to help me to answer the question. But if there is nobody that will answer that question, I'll give you the same answer. every business that you do anywhere in the world has got its own challenges. The Chinese that operate business in Nigeria, how do they do it? So if that is a challenge, you also have to factor it into what you have to do. Because if I can take care of this end because of the structure that we are putting here, I cannot guarantee what will happen over there. And you, as a businessman, who should see every issue as a challenge, that is not insurmountable, rather than as a problem or as a cog in the wheel. So I'm throwing it back to you. That one, own problem.
I can help him with that, sir. We are, as members of NBBF, a highly recognized security firm, Halogen, in Nigeria. And that is one of the prime roles they play for foreign investors, the protocol, the security, they take care of all that.
Fantastic, fantastic. Just a little final question.
So the thing we are going to look for Sokoto?
No.
Yes.
Fantastic.
You understand that?
Fantastic.
Do you understand
Fantastic. That? No. I've taken that.
No, that's Yoruba language. Do you understand?
No, I love that. I use it all the time. No problem. So the final one is, since this is interactive, do let us know what we can do to support your mission at this time.
Yeah. Dr. Jennifer.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the gentleman has just really focused on one of the things. What are your top 3 aims? I know you've spoken about agribusiness and agroeconomics and really maybe facilitating those who want to invest in Nigeria, but it would be good if we leave here knowing that during your tenure you want to focus on some particular areas or fields, and we within ourselves try to help you and make sure that you achieve those aims. And for me, what I wanted to raise from the community perspective is we're coming out of a pandemic, so a lot of the Nigerian businesses that were on the high streets may have some challenges. It may be good if we try to offer them some kind of workshop, some of challenges with business rates and dealing with other issues as a result of the pandemic. Many of the members of our community have mental health challenge, which now brings in social services. So again, maybe doing a forum that helps the people within the community know that their embassy is thinking of them and really trying to put forward little things to support. I'll be happy to help with any workshops you want to do around that. And then one of the things we've tried to create within the NBBF is to create a platform or let me say, a procedure by which people doing their youth calling Nigeria can come and do work experience here. We raised this with Honourable Ms. Abike, and we kind of have got a little bit stuck with it, but we would like to really make sure that becomes a way for graduates in Nigeria to serve part of their youth corps here. And many of us who have organisations actually offered placements. And I'd love to see that as an initiative that actually becomes successful, and I'm very passionate about it. So again, if there's any way that could be put forward in Nigeria, and it will stop something that we call the brain drain. One of the things they say in Nigeria is a lot of the graduates leave. But if they know they can get external experience and take it back home to improve, let me say, best practice in Nigeria in their different fields, it'll be a wonderful thing. Thank you.
Well, let me respond to that before we move further. The issue is, I've already thrown the thing back to you. This is MBF. This meeting is supposed to be introductory and exploratory. I mean, for us to share ideas. And I've always believed that it's what you have capacity to do that should matter to me, not what I want you to do. So what I'm saying is that after this session, the NBBF will go and brainstorm, look at the areas that we can partner for the development of our country. One is, what can we do to strengthen the business here? Sometimes it's not about money, it's about networking. You know, I will be engaging a lot of professional groups in the coming weeks. You know, the engagement has started and it will continue. I'm trying to create a solid Nigerian community that will be comparable to the Chinese or Indian community by the time I leave this place. That to me is I don't want a situation whereby our country is defined by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people coming to protest here, or carrying placard in Trafalgar Square, or going at 9 a.m. on Monday to stand in front of 10 Downing Street. That's not who we are. Of course, people will have a right to protest, but that's what is defining us here. I mean, look at what I'm saying this for. So we must do things and create situation to let people see the other side. While those who are interested in that will continue, but let's us have a situation whereby people can define Nigeria in the way they will define you. I don't know whether I'm making. So that's the essence of this. And back home, I know we are having challenges with our people. A lot of the money that we take back home, that's where our remittances, as at today, 70% of it is on consumption. So, forum like this has to make deliberate effort to shift that focus. You can imagine if $25 billion is going to Nigeria in form of investments. But my mother is sick, my wife is getting married, I have to bury my mother in school in style. You know, all those kind of things. People may argue that, yes, that also provides some kind of employment for people, but is that how we are going to develop a nation? Will any nation develop on the trajectory of service or production? So these are the things that I want to, and the issue of brain drain is debatable, because I raised it with the British High Commissioner before I assumed it here. We're talking on that, and by the way, she is very much concerned about Nigerian British and British Nigerians, yes. You know, and that's expected anyway. So when we discussed on the issue of brain drain, he said, well, brain drain is debatable because the world is one global village as of today, and that whatever brain drain that we have, remittances can take care of it as well. Resources can be mobilized through technology being taken abroad. So me, I don't really see much problem in that. What is important is the people that come over here, what do they do back home? And you can take it from just one illustration. To read pharmacy at UNILAG today, I have that experience because my daughter went to UNILAG. Every year, how much was I paying as tuition? 70,000 naira. You know, for 5 years, 350,000 naira tuition. And to me, nobody will say UNILAG cannot compare with some universities based in UK here, as of today. To do a similar course in one of those universities of comparable standard in UK here, for one session will cost me about £26,000 per. Yet the value of the degree are more or less similar and the same. So when the person now comes back to UK, that person will now also join in the process of Nigeria is not good. The certificate that will take somebody about £70,000 to acquire in UK, you acquired maybe less than £5,000, you acquire the same, yet Nigeria is not good. It's what we do with our diaspora population that matters.
Without striking between.
How do we put back? How do we put back to our country? Some of us, I heard somebody saying Ife and the rest of it. A lot of us went to Nigerian universities and we came here, we made it. But what are we giving back home? So migration to me and brain drain, what we call brain drain, it's no issue. It's what we do with that. We have Chinese, Indians, we see them all over. When they come here, they give back home. So I think emphasis should not be on whether they are going to come, they will come. You can't stop it. But what do they put back should not be the focus. And when they are putting back, is it this consumption thing? I want to bury my mother in style, even having spent 10 years, 15 years in UK, burial of a mother is still an issue, and that kind of thing. So those are the issues. Where is the money going? Imagine $25 billion going into investments, even in the cottage industry in Nigeria. So I want a situation whereby the NBBF, because you have the expertise, you have operated, there's nothing as good as somebody who has been in the business trying to advise. We can't come as a commission and slam things on you. No, it doesn't go that way. These are the things we think the mission would do. We are susceptible to advice because it's coming from professionals. So let us walk along that line. I'm sorry if I take time reacting to some of these things, but I just believe that's yes.
Thank you, Your Excellency, sir. So one of the things actually been mentioned earlier, because I was conscious of time, is that I'm actually the CEO of Synergized Data Technologies. And what we do there, we provide IT consulting and training services. So my emphasis on training, because I spoke about my IT consulting earlier. So the training services is within both private and public sectors. I also like to emphasize that because I feel like you don't want to focus on just the private or the public. It's good to have a marriage of both. And then I have a team. So with my strategic team, we provide customized IT solutions for business transformations and re-engineering to corporate organizations of all sizes within diverse industries in Nigeria. Now, I've taken my time to explain that because one of the things I'm very passionate about, which is what I mentioned, the IT conference, which we did for free, is training. Because I work in IT, and as I explained earlier, I've worked within so many companies. I've seen what the Indian community has done. I mean, it is frightening. When I started out in IT, like 27 years ago, we barely had Indians. And then the last 15 years, it's been an influx to the extent that even when I was at Accenture, at some point they took part of the business to India. Now, why am I saying this? Is to emphasize the fact that training is required because they have massive outfits of training. And I look at the Nigerian youth. Like I said, Nigerians are clever. What would it, I mean, it would just be an amazing opportunity to have training centers for Nigerian youth. Either they're coding, I mean, that's what Facebook did. That's what the guy did. Mark Zuckerberg is a coder. Even the Zoom guy is a coder. They're developers. And they can manipulate programs to do a lot of things. So what I'm saying is that, sir, it will be great for us to have training outfits for the Nigerian youth. And Nigerian youth are clever. They're dynamic. If we just provide those services for them, just have training hubs in different cities. By the way, I'm from Abeokuta as well, sir. Just have training hubs in different cities where we can coach them either to do development, to do software testing, to do program management. I would even focus more on the coding, isn't it? Because that's what can really explode. We have like mobile apps all over the place. So I don't want to take too much time.
Synopsis on that?
Yes, sir. I definitely can. It's my passion, sir. I do training.
Please do.
I will, sir.
It's part of the thing that you help me hand over to.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Professor Andrew.
Prof, we will work together on that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you very much. And thank you very much for saying that because I was just going to come to that. Building a high-tech enterprise like ours, we found out that there's a big knowledge gap, skill gap in Nigeria, having to hire a developer who understands how to build not just the fintech app, which everybody is doing, but a very complicated, complex healthcare app. And that turns out that we have to hire resources from other places, Asia, the UK, and it means that the cost of doing business increases. And again, so it is a very, very good initiative. Thank you for bringing that out. And I think that is going to really help in building the local resources that we need in Africa, in Nigeria particularly. But also, second to that is the issue of the CBN policy that is currently really injurious to businesses. There's a limit of $5,000 that you can actually transfer if you're doing the cash transfer. And of course, there's a limit to access to Forex for small, medium enterprises. So for businesses like ours where we have need, because we are a global company, we have need to pay for equipment, we have need to pay for the human capital that we get from here, it has become a bit challenging. So in whatever way that you can help to influence these policy changes, the capital importation certificates exist already, but that's for investors bringing money in to invest in the company. But for you to pay for services, for you to pay for, you still need to be able to pay in Forex, and there's a limit currently of $5,000 per month.
Well, I mentioned that what the CBN governor is trying to do is to have a convergence of the two rates. And I'm sure with the convergence that will solve the problem. It will definitely solve the problem because it's not liberalized. But I said one thing, of course we cannot solve all the problem at this sitting, but I've encouraged all of us here to come up with issues individually, but more collectively. Because I always emphasize pulling together. Pulling together is how we can develop our issue. All the IT people here, instead of coming up with different programs, and I'm happy to know that the NBBF is structured along trade group, so that those in ICT can come together, put up, a program of action. The expertise that is lacking in her is available in you, and the one that is lacking in you is available in her. So, but Nigerians, one of the things we do is we are too individualistic. Me. It doesn't take us anywhere. So if it's a Greek, it's a group, what do we do? How can we add value? What kind of the things that we need? Like many questions have been asked now, how can we even be of use to the mission? So we group it under various headings. The IT group will say, okay, these are the things that we can do for the mission. These are the things that we expect from the mission. These are the things that we also think we can do in Nigeria. And these are the issues. So when you look at that, I always like a more pragmatic and realistic approach to issues. It's not a question of talk, and not walking the talk. That to me, it's what we need, where we need to focus on. I believe that the kind of expertise that is in this place, if it's properly harnessed and pulled together, we can make some progress.
Thank you, sir.
I think
that young lady, sorry for referring to you as a young lady.
Well, I am young. Thank you, sir. Take it. At my age, you take it.
Okay, so,
yes,
Professor Andrew said you are the last person.
Yes. I'll just get
I think you know which Professor Andrew.
Yes, of course, yes. Yeah, I was just going to acknowledge what you said, sir, about kind of like working together, because I think a lot of things that were said around the IT area, we do that as well. We're talking about, we've taken this thing, we're about to run that as well. And we can all work together, come together and form something that is going to be really commendable. So, yeah, thank you, sir, for that.
How you doing?
That's it.
Okay, Prof. I think... Please sit down.
Okay. I'm sorry I have to come in, even though you kind of stopped the clock. I just crave your indulgence.
No, it's fine.
By the grace of God, I think when I look around this room, I can identify a few faces that for quite a while we've kind of been at the cold surface, battling for the cause of Nigeria in this country. Now, I'm not one to just give praise lightly, but if I may say so, sir, I'm meeting you for the first time. I'm seeing you for the first time. And one thing that has struck me is the ease with which you've engaged. That's very important. And it's given one a lot of reassurance. But sir, as you know more than I do, this High Commission is probably the most important of the Nigerian embassies abroad.
True.
At this time in Nigeria's history, I believe you have your work cut out for you. As a person, I can tell you have your work cut out for you. As a person, as a person, so
Easy for you.
To be easy.
Well, as most days are for me, but even it's going to be more so for me today. But I'm going to go home feeling happy, but very sad. Sad because as you listen to the pedigree of the people in this room, you ask yourself, why is Nigeria the way it is? Kilo far. Now, I did not want us to talk. Sorry. And why I say you have your work cut out for you, believe me, you have a chance to write your name in history. Amen. To do whatever you can to harness the resources in this room to make a change in this our country called Nigeria. Let's make no bones about it. There are big barriers to people who want to do things in that country. Please, you have a reach that we don't have. Talk to people that the Nigerian diaspora love Nigeria. They should not see us as enemies. They should find a way to make sure that people who want to do things, even if it is opening an extra gate of opportunity for them, they should do so. Many people want to do things in Nigeria go not because of themselves, but because of the passion for that country. So, sir, from what you've said, I think you're beginning to think out of the box. And we even need to think more out of the box. As NBBF, we can do and talk whatever we like. If somebody does not action it, it will remain empty talk. And that's what I will plead with you and pray for you. We thank Afolabi Andu for the energy he's shown him over the years in bringing different people together, and as so many people in this room. But all I'm saying to you is, please, I do not want this gathering with you to be just another gathering in history. I want, by the grace of God, to be able to see that in the not too distant future, something concrete will begin to materialize from this gathering today. Thank you very much.
What I missed out with regards to Professor Obaru, that he was instrumental in setting up the umbrella organization for the medical professionals in the United Kingdom, MANSAN. Pioneers. Thank you.
You can start from there. Yes, before I call on Ambassador Name to give the vote of thanks, I would like to give a closing remarks. I strongly believe that the journey to 1,000 miles normally starts with a step. What I really need in this room today, I've gotten it, that is commitment. Because with focus and commitment, getting the job done becomes much easier. Person too, that government has no business in business. Because I'm not aware whether in advanced nation or developing nation, any government business that has succeeded. So government should always be a facilitator and limit itself to provision of infrastructure for business to develop. And when business develops, you tax them, to be able to run the state. I'm a believer in capitalism, and that is where we are. This country today is a hub of capitalism, and there's no pretense about it. So what I will say we should do from today is what one or two organizations have done. After today's meeting, the Professor Andrew will have to write to all of you to show commitment, because whatever we have said here today, we just take it as part of the interactive section. Those who have attended and those who didn't attend for one reason or the other, a letter of written to them for them to write a letter of commitment to the process of that we have started today. So from that moment, efforts will now be made to come up with a program of action telling us what we need to do on our part, because that is very important. Whatever we need to do on our part will now be the benchmark, so that this will not be another talk show. And I can assure you, I will really be at his back to make sure that I remind him often of what we need to do. The issue is just very clear, and what are the issues that I want to repeat? My closing remark is, what can we do to strengthen the Nigerian British business people here, not forum this time around, Nigerian British business enterprises here? Of course, there are a lot that we can do, which you think we can also do. Let us know, so that on our part we'll do it. Then back in Nigeria, what are the things that you feel we can facilitate or enhance your business trip or business ideas translating into development in Nigeria? Then you also let us know that as well. Then by the time you will take on board your various suggestions, we can blend it with us and possibly now set up a kind of committee together to synergize, harmonize, and work out with a working document with timelines for all of us to go ahead on this. That I assure you on our part that will happen here. And I know that you people being the private sector people that you are, it shouldn't be difficult for you to also walk along that line. It's on this note that I want to thank all of you, but the process of thanking you will still be done by the Minister in charge of investment, trade and industry. But I must say I appreciate you all finding time to come and have this kind of interactive section with us. It just shows your love for the country. And when you love your country, I can assure that good things will always follow you. So, Ambassador Yin, thank you. The official closing remarks rests with you. Thank you.
Let me stand up once again. Your Excellency, Ambassador Sheriff Atunji Ishola. Let me start by thanking you, Excellency, for convening this very important event, which has turned out to be very successful. It started very well. It's gone on very well all through our interactions, and it's coming to an end, and I can very well say that it has ended well. Finished. I want to thank most sincerely the President of NBBF, Prince Afolabi Andu, for his tenacity of purpose. I started discussing with him on this issue just about 3 days ago, and he took it so serious and so passionate. I feel the issue became so central to his heart because from the day I started talking to him on this matter, he ensured we spoke or we chatted every day up till this morning, up to 30 minutes before this event commenced. I can see that resilience, that determination and commitment to the purpose and objectives of this group. I thank you, Prince, for making this meeting a reality. Senior Frederick James, I thank you most sincerely for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here to share your word of knowledge and experience with us. For those of you, for everybody that came here, we've been able to listen to you. You truly represent Nigerians in this country, and you truly ambassadors of Nigeria. The time has come for this mission to make a difference in some of the things that probably you may have pursued over the years unsuccessfully. You have heard from the ambassador. He is very open. He is willing to reach out, and he is also there to accept proposals and anything that can help bring Nigerians together in this country and project us in a much more positive light than it has been in the past. Of course, you are doing very well, but you can still do better. I thank you all for coming. And, he spoke about diaspora remittances and all that. Yes, there are so many diaspora activities. You have diaspora remittances, you have diaspora direct investment, you have diaspora real estate, and of course the common one which we know, that is diaspora philanthropy. And that's the common one that we have in Nigeria. With the caliber of people that are gathered here, I believe we can engage in diaspora activities that are far and above diaspora philanthropy. We are looking at people here engaging in diaspora direct investment. We are looking at people here engaging in diaspora real estate. That is the kind of thing that will bring about development to our country. We look forward to very laudable proposals from you after today's event, so that together we can work together and make a difference. When we talk of this Nigerian British Business Forum, there is also a political dimension of it in Nigeria. He spoke about the economy, but there is, he talked about how successive governments and presidents or heads of state have been humiliated out of office and all that. The truth is that Nigeria at a time was recognized for having Africa as its centerpiece in its foreign policy. And over the years, we have invested so much in the Afrocentric foreign policy objective, to the point that at a time some African countries started having security and peace issues when there was peace in Nigeria. We invested so much in countries like Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Cote d'Ivoire, in so many places. But what Nigerian businessmen failed to do was to take advantage of the peace and security role that Nigeria played in this country to move in and invest. Instead, we stayed back, and businessmen from other countries came in and took advantage of that. I will encourage that apart from looking at investment in Nigeria, there are also investment opportunities in other West African countries where Nigeria has played leading and commanding role in terms of peace and security. And of course, our foreign policy and foreign policy of any country is such that when you invest in the peace and security of your neighboring countries, it goes with strings attached to it. It's a reciprocal gesture. You give and take. But on your part, you have to look out for that. But we also have our own role to play as diplomats. So this is a period for somber reflection on all of this. And I believe going forward, we can begin to encourage and interact and encourage ourselves in some of these areas. I want to thank you all most sincerely for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here and interface with us on this very issue, and we hope we will continue to move on going forward. This is the beginning, and I believe the sky is our sky is even the beginning, not our limit. I thank you all.
Thank you very much. We would like to reciprocate as well, Mr. Prosecutor.
Well, Your Excellency,
I didn't like this baritone voice.
the most excellent Ambassador Sarafa Tunji Ishola, Minister Head of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Cyprian Heen. It has been a true delight for this delegation today, sir, to make your wonderful acquaintance. It is said that everything in leadership and everything rises and falls on leadership. Your indefatigable and indefatigability of your spirit, sir, has endeared you to us as business people. Because we are pragmatic people, we like to see results and get things done. We believe, of course, in delivering supreme value, but nonetheless, we appreciate supreme execution. You sound to us like a man who can execute, sir. And I think the reason for that is because you've come from the business world. Like I mentioned before in my opening statements, I've been here at the High Commission sometimes 1 a.m. in the morning, where we're trying to reposition the High Commission with the last ambassador. As much as they tried, I think, sir, that you will exceed all of them. And that deserves a hand of applause. We don't expect you to do miracles or magic. Some of the questions that have been posed to you today, I'm here smiling thinking, what you can do is provide the enabling environment and the necessary associations to enable us to do what we have to do. Back home in Nigeria, we know how things work. So you would do the best you can for us. We have no doubt about it at all. So sincerely from our hearts, we want to say a big thank you for your time today, for your love that you've shown to us, for your commitment to excellence, for your can-do spirit. Not dilly-dallying, but getting things done. Before they even finish, you say, no, he'll take care of that. No, we've already taken care of that. He's taking care of that. That's our language, sir. So congratulations. You're going to get the very best out of us. But we'll also help you leave behind a lasting legacy. Because when you live here, they have to be able to say, during his tenure, Nigeria experienced its most powerful and most dynamic transformation and evolution in the United Kingdom. And that will happen under your watch, sir. I can guarantee that. So thank you once again. And for the head of our delegation here, he's one of my closest friends of almost 35 years. There's nothing about me that he does not know about, maybe besides one or two things. Everything else he probably does know. So to see how he has evolved, he's always had this in his heart. 33 years ago, Folabi was already planning the cohesion of the Nigerian community. With a newspaper 30-something years ago. You know, one of the original giants of this community is this gentleman sitting right here. He's been through all kinds of wars. He's got the scars on his back. Gleaned from the trenches of fighting that he can show you, sir. But he's moved to the next level right now. So we are pleased to support you in all that you also have to do. And thank you for making this a possibility. So may the Lord keep you, may the Lord preserve you, and may the Lord bless you and your entire team. Thank you very much, Richard.
First View TV, your cutting-edge television station, interfacing Africa and the rest of the world with excellent documentaries, business news, investment opportunities, lifestyle, and much more. We're currently on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also view while on the move at www.firstviewtv.tv. First View TV, changing the narrative.